You're listening to the Nonprofit State of Minds podcast, an Angel Oak Creative production.
Hey everybody, David Chatham here with Angel Oak Creative. Welcome to our Nonprofit State of Minds podcast, where we pick the brains of nonprofit leaders in the sector, trying to get some best practices, some good tips, some advice, some experience, maybe how to avoid some mistakes. We always enjoy that. We've had some great guests. This is our third season. Had some great guests throughout the year. This particular episode is a special one. We've got three amazing guests. We've got Michelle Zeckman, CEO of Haven House Services. Welcome, Michelle.
Hey, thank you for having us.
We've got Shamika Smith, who is also with Haven House, second round program coordinator. Welcome, Shamika.
Hey, thank you, David.
And then Mary Thacker is Senior VP, Regional Private Banking Executive. That's a mouthful at First Bank. Also, the role that Mary played, and we'll be getting into this as we have this conversation, is a volunteer fundraiser. And do you have the belt today, Mary? Did you bring the belt?
I do not have the belt.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, here
Actually,
we
I have the belt for you, Mary. Here you go.
And Mary was the champion of
your
the
name's
25
there.
Executive Challenge. So for those watching on video or not watching on video, Shamika is holding up the heavyweight belt that Mary won for her win. So welcome, Mary.
Thank you so much for having me.
And congratulations on the win.
Thank you so much. It was lots of fun.
Well, good. Well, Michelle, if you could tell us just a little bit about you and how you got to where you are, and maybe just give a little bit about Haven House big picture, and then we'll get into the second round program and the 12 rounds initiative that you all undertook.
Sure, thanks for asking. I've been with Haven House for 16 years. Before that, did some other nonprofits and worked in state and local government as well. So I've gotten here through lots of different pathways. Haven House, we're an organization whose mission it is to help youth be safe, supported, and successful. We work in three different areas: homelessness and housing, mental health, and diversion. We're working primarily with youth ages 16 to 24. And we have 9 different programs in our agency, and we serve in those 9 different programs about 1,500 youth each year.
Wow. That's great. Shamika, tell us a little bit about you and your role at Haven House, if you would.
So as Michelle stated, we have 9 programs, and I am the coordinator for one of the diversion programs that we use as a diversion intervention, and it's called Second Round Fitness. So we use that, fitness to kind of meet kids where they are, help boost their confidence. I've been in nonprofit work since my internship year at Central. I actually started out as an intern here. So I'm going into my 9th year in January.
Congratulations.
So, yeah, thank you. But yeah, that's how I got started in the nonprofit world as an intern.
For those who can't see, Shamika's got her second round shirt on.
Absolutely.
So representing well.
Got to represent.
And, look forward to having you tell us more about that. It includes boxing and
absolutely
all interesting stuff. And then Mary, tell us a little bit about you're in banking at First Bank. Tell us about kind of your experience in the volunteer side and fundraising or nonprofits in general.
Sure. I work for First Bank and I'm in private banking, and I am involved in a lot of nonprofits trying to raise awareness. It's good recognition for the bank, and it brings awareness to the organizations, and we just love supporting our community. It's really important to us, and especially this, in particular, it's our youth, and who doesn't like to support the youth in our area? Great program.
Yeah. And I can't imagine the phone calls you get because you're a bank, right? So,
That's right.
I think I think fundraising, I think the nonprofits take the same approach that I think it was Billy the Kid that was asked, why do you rob banks? And he says that's where the money is, right? So,
That's right. That's right.
so why do nonprofits
That's
go
perfect.
partner with banks? That's where the money is. So thank you and First Bank for
That's
all you
right.
do for our community.
Thank you.
So today we're going to talk a little bit about, well, a lot about peer-to-peer fundraising. Um,
Mhm.
Haven House has undertaken a really interesting program called 12 Rounds for Second Round, which is in support of the second round program that both Michelle and Shamika mentioned. And, talk about a little bit about what is the approach to fundraising in general, but then this peer-to-peer idea and helping it, develop this campaign of 12 rounds for second round. And I guess, Michelle, you're probably a good one to start that.
Sure. So, as we all know in the nonprofit world, when you want to support an agency or a program, you have to be diverse in your funding of your programs. And so, Second Round is one of those programs that we have looked at as kind of a flagship program for us. It gets a lot of kids in the door, and Shamika will probably talk about that a little bit
Yeah.
later. But I think for us, we really want to make sure that we have the funding available to support this program. And so our development director, Shannon Walters, came up with a really creative idea to support 12, second round program. And she came up with a peer-to-peer fundraising program called 12 Rounds for Second Round, where we recruit local executives from different industries to join together to be part of a peer-to-peer fundraiser to support this program specifically. It's the third year we've done it and really have made strides each year. And it's really a friendly competition amongst executives. So we have 12 executives, like 12 rounds in a boxing match. That all compete against each other, but also all for good. So everybody wins, really. Although Mary, you really did win.
We all did. We all did.
Yeah.
We all do win, but you really did win.
Yeah.
But what we do is each executive gets their own fundraising page. We made a goal for the campaign of $50,000, hoping each executive would raise $3,000, and then each person got a fundraising page, and they in 30 days in advance of the 12 rounds goes on for 4 days, but we give them about 30 days beforehand to kind of start connecting with their network and talking about it and playing it up and really getting folks involved. And really, this is about getting their network involved in a nonprofit in a way that's a little bit different and fun. And so, it gives people the opportunity to learn more about Haven House. So it also, brings in new friends and new people that we maybe haven't been connected with us as well. So it's a lot of fun. And I'm happy to say that they raised over $80,000 this year.
Wow. Congratulations.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Well, I guess we're not picturing these executives getting in the ring and boxing together, right? That's not happening. Okay. Even though Mary might have won that as well, but no, it is.
I would have lost.
Shamika, tell us where that $80,000 is going to go, or what the funding does support as far as second round goes. What does that give us a little deeper look into what second round does and how it does it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we are an after-school fitness program where we use weight training, yoga, it can be boxing, and just any type of form of exercise to help youth build their confidence, teamwork, and leadership skills. So that $80,000 allows us to have the space, the equipment that we need. We provide them with snacks and just being able to operate functionally, just, lights, just like everyday living. But then within that program, we're also doing a little bit more than just fitness. So we focus, like, Michelle mentioned homelessness, mental health, and then diversion. So there's a lot that we run into just working with one of 1,500 kids in Wake County because we cover all of Wake County. So that's
Wow.
the improvement, like physical, emotional, mental health, help them with school successes, the community connection, working on their leadership skills. And then, the ages, we work with kids between the ages of 12 and 21. So each kid has a different need. So again, the funding allows us to have the support, the resources, to be able to provide things with kids that they need throughout the time here, just providing what they need at some point. And then, it's a free program. So that's also where that comes in because we don't require anything, just paperwork. A referral is the biggest thing. Anyone can refer a youth to second round. We get referrals from schools, law enforcement. There are self-referrals as long as they're 18. Parents, juvenile justice, we see a lot of kids throughout Wake County. And so that funding is very important. Like, we do this. It was a great idea. At first, you asked, were they getting in the ring? When they came up with the idea, and I was like, oh, well, that would be cool. And they're like, no. I was like, okay, you're right. That's probably not a good idea, but it is friendly competition. It was good to see it. Like Mary, like every day, Casey and I were talking about just like how Mary's like, I'm like, man, she's blowing it out the water. I said, I don't think they're catching up with her, but it was good to see that because again, like everyone's like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But also it was just good to see them doing something for the kids, because that's all that it matters. Yeah, that was a good thing. It was fun for that. So.
No, that's great. Well, Mary, how did you get connected and recruited for 12 rounds? What did that look like?
Well, I was actually nominated. I guess one of my personal friends happens to be connected to Haven House and then mentioned my name and said she would love a good competition. And I was like, thank you. But I didn't know anything about Haven House, which is great. And so I didn't really want to let him down because he put my name out there. And I thought, you know what? If he put my name out there, he wants me to do this. And it's something he, was very close to. And I thought, I'm going to do this because he's such a great friend. So that's initially how it started. And it was lots of fun.
Now, what did you know about Haven House before this? Was Haven House new to you or?
It was new to me. I asked a couple other people at work, and of course they knew what Haven House was. I had no idea. So when I found out, I had more of an interest because I had a personal connection, and I felt like it was close to my heart from, my upbringing. And I thought, wow, this is something I can really relate to and give back. And I think when you can give back to something you can relate to, it makes a big difference. It really makes you want to go further and work harder to say, hey, this is a great organization doing some really great things.
I'm sorry, go ahead. So you were
it's just a great organization.
You were one of 12 executives that were recruited. Michelle, what was that process like when you were your team was reaching out and recruiting these 12 executives? I mean, most executives are busy and are focused on family and their own business. And so what was that experience like of just recruiting these 12 people? Did you have to start with 50 to get 12?
Good question.
Probably more than 12, but less than 50. But no, I mean, I think for us, it's always amazing that people step up and even like Mary didn't even know who we were and stepped up and said, okay, I need to do this. And that's kind of the amazing part of this opportunity is that we find new friends, we find people that really, connect with our mission and the work that we do and are willing to take the time, like you said, are in their very, very busy schedules to ask their friends and family and coworkers to support them in this challenge. So it is, we really want to make sure that when we talk with folks, we're really, we're honest about it. Takes a little bit of energy and effort to do it, and it's a lot of fun. So it is not, we don't need to ask 50 people for sure, but it is amazing how many people just say, yes, I want to do this. I want to connect with Haven House and support Haven House in this way. And we really appreciate it. Well, peer-to-peer fundraising has, I think, had its critics and had its promoters. What is your experience with having that as one of your more significant fundraisers in the year? Does it require significant work on y'all's part? Is it a fairly easy lift from a fundraising standpoint? How would you describe it? I mean, probably I would have a different answer than our fundraising staff who are doing the behind the scenes data and
Sure.
pulling everything together and doing all the hours of work. But I mean, honestly, having a, a good platform, software platform is important.
Okay.
And so because we do an even bigger peer-to-peer fundraiser in the fall, and it's,
Yeah.
doing it is some work on the front end and really getting
Yeah.
people prepared and giving them, Mary could probably attest to the fact that we give her lots of information. We give her
Yeah.
stories, we give her, videos, we give, what's this program, all the things that you hope that someone
Right.
who's fundraising for you might need.
Yeah.
So I think there is some front end work, but once it gets going, it's a lot of fun to just kind of step back and watch the fundraisers do the amazing work that they do.
And just what platform are you using if somebody's curious about that? Do you?
Yeah, we use QGive.
Okay.
It's connected to our donor database. We used it for this one. We've used a different one in the past, but we just switched donor databases, and so this is connected to our donor database, and it worked
Now,
well.
is that Bloomerang? Is it
Mhm.
connected?
It
Okay.
is. It's connected to
Yeah.
Bloomerang.
Okay. So I've heard good things about that. I'm sure there's other good ones out there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mary, what was the, the, as you were getting into this and kind of getting engaged in the 12 rounds, um, what was that experience like? Did you feel equipped for success? Do you feel like you feel like it was, and maybe you've done this with other organizations similarly. How would you describe your experience with that?
Well, it's interesting to hear their side, how much work they were doing behind the scenes, which was great because I never felt that. They sent me all this information. I was panicking a little bit. I kept sending Casey texts and emails like, what do I do for this? And he's like, it's all going to come out. And I was kind of worried, like, where was I going to find the time for all these templates and get all the information out? And he's like, it's all going to be easy. It's going to be smooth. And when it came out, I was like, oh, wow, this is just click and go. It
Wow.
was so user friendly. The templates were unbelievably amazing. For somebody in my generation, it's a little bit more difficult with the technology, so that was not an issue. It was really nice to see that every time I wanted to send an email, send something on social media, everything was set up for me. All I had to do was go in and tweak a few things, personalize a few things. It was everything. I don't know if everyone does that. I've never experienced to this degree of, ease. And I felt like that's what attributed to a lot of the success for all of us.
Well,
Just having them do all that work behind the scenes.
I can tell you that not every nonprofit does that and does it well. So
It was
it
phenomenal.
sounds like Michelle and her team have cracked the code there. So congratulations on that. That is
Bravo.
our experience is that the better you can equip that peer to do the peer-to-peer, the more successful it is. So, Michelle, tell us a little bit about that. What was the thought behind all of that equipping? I mean, how much work did that take? We talked a little bit about that maybe, but then, what feedback did you get from your 12 recruits?
Right. So, I mean, it takes some, like I said earlier, it takes some work. Casey, one of our fundraising folks, put together, lots of templates, like Mary said, that have emails and social media posts and stuff that they can personalize, but also connects them to our stories and our organization. And I think
Yeah.
that work up front is really, when you're asking folks that may not know you as well, or even if they do know you, I know that it's really helpful. Sometimes when I'm doing fundraising, we have, like I said, a peer-to-peer fundraiser in the fall. It's really
Yeah.
helpful to have some information that I can really just, kind of put in there, add my own perspective and share with my friends and family.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's great.
I'm sorry, Michelle, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's great to have. We've learned over the years. I think we've been doing peer-to-peer fundraising for about 10 years, and I think we've learned over the years that really simple, kind of upfront, for it doesn't have to be long, simple emails, social media posts that really connect people to the mission and our mission, I think are the most effective.
Yeah. Shamika, talking about connecting people to mission, I'm guessing stories are an important part of this effort. Was that something you were tasked with, was finding those stories to help
Absolutely.
Michelle and others share?
Mhm.
What's that like for you?
It's a challenge most times because I have so many stories, they all like there's so many from interesting to, just like heartbreaking. Like I've had moments where I've let the kids see me cry and I'm like, okay, don't it, but because there were tears of joy, because it's like,
Yeah.
oh, this is good. So like I said, it's a challenge, and then it's just like I don't know which one to tell you. And then I usually like Casey and Kelly, like I'm like, I'll give you these 3 stories and you'll pick out which one you want to use. And so that's kind of where we go from
Yeah.
telling the story, getting it out. Like Michelle said, is good. Some people don't know what we do unless we can tell the story. And so
Yeah.
sometimes it's telling that story and then also showing them. So even when I saw the pages that the executives had, I'm like, this is great. Like the time and effort that went into that. And then also I was like, oh, my picture's on here. I didn't know they were using it this year, but it's fine. I'm like, whatever helps, I'll take it because it's for the program. But this was a good thing. I always enjoy it. Like this was a good 3 year, third year. This was a pretty good year.
Right. Now you're busy, I'm assuming, running the program. Was it much of an extra lift for you to try to do you try to bring those stories together, or,
Um,
you know?
yes and no, because then it's just like I said, like Casey and Kelly they're very patient with me. Also it's just we have so much we can do while we're still doing more for them. And
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like it was like, okay, I don't know which story to tell you. Also, we do need to meet the executives. When you said something about the schedule,
Yeah.
jokes on us, we had to reschedule so many times getting everybody in the door, but we also got it in where we just ended up meeting with them individually. So each time you probably had a different story. Mary may have heard a different story than the first executive we met, because by that time we've had so many different stories again. So
Yeah. Well, Mary, talk about that when you were able to get this, kind of experience the mission in action. How motivating was that? Was that an important part of, maybe you feeling even more energized or more motivated?
Yes, going over there just to see how the organization was run. They told me everything about the programs they offered. I felt like just being there, feeling it, seeing it, it really made a huge difference. I mean, they kind of set me up for success anyway, but everything there was just so well run that I was extremely impressed. I can see why people join and people want to be a part of it.
Tell us what was your game plan? How did you go after your particular peers and ask them to participate and help you win that big old belt that we saw?
I think I had a little bit of an edge because I'm in sales, so that helps a little bit. So I do think if you're in sales, you have a little bit of an edge because you're used to, and you usually have a huge network of clients.
Yeah.
So I felt like consistency really, to be honest, it was like having the templates was huge. Getting those over quickly where it didn't interfere in my day and I could still help support something so great and not have to do too much work behind it and really just leverage all those resources and, coworkers and clients, board members. It was just, to me, it felt like just doing what I normally do every day, but then just asking for something. I'm not one to ask for things. So when I do, my clients are like, what? Here? Yes, of course.
Yeah.
And so I felt like I was doing something every day and it really just, it snowballed. And I felt like if I woke up every day and I spent an hour doing this, as if I were looking for new clients or, I just felt like that's what helped me. And I noticed every day if I did, I would give myself a goal in my head. I'm going to find this amount today. Then I would reach it. I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to find this tomorrow. And I would just kind of set my own little mindset up of what I was going to go after every day and how many people I would reach out to and how many people I would text and how many emails I would send out. So it was fun.
Now, did you feel a sense of competitiveness? Was there, wanting to kind of be the winner there, or did that come into play?
Definitely came into play because I'm in sales. So it's natural to compete when you're in sales. But I think it was more of a fun because it was peer-to-peer. We're pretty much 1 degree of separation in Raleigh.
Yeah.
So it's like, wow, we're doing this together, but we're competing. So it's like we're kind of going against but together. It's kind of interesting. So it does make it super fun and engaging. And I felt like that's what made it exciting. And then, of course, Casey was great at just kind of tapping everybody every day, go, hey, this is what so-and-so is doing. And I'm like, oh, darn it. Okay, we have to do. And to be honest with you, I was representing First Bank. So I told everybody, we really want First Bank to be in first place. And so I kind of leveraged that as well. And then all the board members were like, oh, yes, of course, we have to be in first place.
Yeah.
So I think that peer does help because every company wants to have the recognition, and most people do it for their company, not for themselves, and they do it for the organization, of course. But it's the company gets recognition as well. And I feel like that's what kind of drove everybody was like, okay, yes, anything you want to do to help First Bank. It made it fun. I love the peer-to-peer. I thought it was great.
Well, Michelle, what was that a fairly universal experience across the different executives, or did you feel like maybe some were more? I mean, I guess there's always going to be a little bit of a difference, but what was there any common themes among the executives? And obviously you were successful. You blew the doors off your goal. So, what do you attribute that to? And just kind of.
Well, I mean, I think some really energetic and great executives. I mean, I think everybody did a great job this year, and I think with Mary, kind of felt that right. I mean, it went down to the last minute. I mean, we had a cutoff time, and we were refreshing our screen and going. And it was Mary and Nicole Calfoot of PMC Commercial Interiors were neck and neck, right?
Wow.
At the very end there. But it was great. It was a lot of fun to watch. These things are always really fun right at the end to kind of watch. All right, did people put some stuff in the end, or are they gonna put? Are they? Yeah.
Mary, were you holding back for that
because I didn't know
knockout?
the strategy.
Were you holding out for that knockout punch?
A lot of people had been on that participated last year had a little bit more of an edge on me, and I kept thinking, what is the strategy? Why? I couldn't understand why people were not really doing much in the beginning, and I couldn't see a lot going on. And I thought, my strategy has always been slow and steady wins the race. And then I thought, I'm not doing this right. I'm not doing it right. And I just thought, there's no way. This is a big fundraiser every year. And then when everybody just started racing towards the end, I thought, darn it. Okay, I missed that. So I had already reached out to the majority of my resources, and I thought, I'm going to have to dig a little bit deeper, because now I could see that there was a lot of sandbagging, and I'm like, oh my God. So it was right on to the last second. I had my timer set on my table, like per second, and just asking and begging, like everybody I could think of. I'm like, this is a great thing. First Bank, let's go in. We're doing this. It really was fun. It was intense in the most fun way, because I was like, wow, this is better than banking. Like, this is great. And you're doing something great, having fun with your peers. It's really fun.
And Mary, in the end, raised $19,329.
Yep.
Amazing.
That's awesome.
Thank you so much. It was a great, I have to say, First Bank did so much. They contributed so much by their company match. I wish every company would do a match. I really think it goes a long way. There's a couple banks that did, people that worked at other banks that contributed, and they have company matches, but I was surprised at the amount of companies that don't have a company match, even if it's, a portion. I really think it encourages, most banks want to give and do things. This is such an easy way to give back, knowing that it's something that matters to them and whatever cause they want to support, versus a lot of times it's whatever the bank or whatever institution wants to support. This way, it kind of leaves the employee to kind of guide what they want to support and be part of, and then have those companies support it by contributing, and making a donation to match it. I think that was key here. It really was.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, I think that's the thing, that leveraging company matches is really important in these fundraising opportunities. Well,
For sure.
Obviously hoping David can rejoin.
Okay.
So far, this
Yeah, it was
episode
a
has
fun and unique
been
experience.
phenomenal. It's hit every single point that I was hoping it was going to hit, and each of you have presented very, very well. So I just want to give kudos to that.
Thank you.
No problem. Just
Did we lose him?
We did. We did.
And
Casey,
he's worried about losing us.
I know. Casey, do you have his cell phone?
I do. I just texted them. Not sure what else to do in this moment.
I'll hang in there. That's okay.
Hey, all, sorry about that.
No problem.
good.
All right. Mary, you mentioned a little something about matching gifts and the importance of that. What's that? How did that help you? How did that help you kind of win the big prize?
Well, I felt like the company match was probably the key thing here, and I would love to see more companies do that. I felt like that was a huge part in how we were able to pull it from First Bank and, get so many donations. We were able to email all the employees and let them know. And I feel like if it's something that you have a personal thought that you believe in for a cause and your company is willing to match that, I think that's huge. And sometimes there's large donations by companies that they give on their own, but for employees to be able to go find things that they're passionate about, that they want to donate to, and then have that company match, it was everything. It really made a huge difference. And so, of course, I leveraged everybody that I worked with and asked for a donation, and they didn't even know it. So they weren't even aware that there was a company match.
Yeah.
So we even did the company matches for them. We submitted every company match for them just to make it as easy as possible. We didn't want anyone to have to work at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's some low-hanging fruit that a lot of people don't know exists is the company match, and certainly encourage people to explore that, whether it's in a peer-to-peer format or whether it's just on a traditional giving. I think it's an important feature. I know there's some platforms out there like double your donation and double the donation. I think it is one that facilitates that kind of identifying company matches and helping to facilitate those. So I think that's great. Shamika, you mentioned that folks like Mary and others came to visit to get that experience. What was that like for you and the youth? And was it an interruption? Was it a blessing?
It was a little bit of everything, like from chaotic to quiet some days, depending on the day. So like there was one day where the gym is just full of kids and everyone's doing this and that. And then, the executives are like, oh, this is great, because they also got to see it in action. And the kids are like, oh, well, I can do this. So they're also able to show off their skills. And then while they're seeing us at work, like seeing what the fundraising is going to do for the kids. So it gives us extra equipment. Like it was a challenging time. Yeah, sure. But we made it work. I think for the most part, it's just, letting the kids know who they are, why they are here. So I think that was the important thing. There are people in the community who care about what we're doing for you guys. They want us to be able to be successful and providing for you. So that's when that all happens. And, the challenge week was always the best, because then you got to see how much money was raised. I checked that thing every day. Like Casey and I were checking. We were checking, even though it was just a short period of time we were checking. And I'm just like, man, Mary, I was like, I don't even think I'm going to check it again until the last day. Because I was like, someone would need a miracle at that point. I think I forgot how much it was at. And I was like, oh, well, this is great. So this is what we can do this summer. I was like, guys, this is what will happen. This is why they're here. Like it'll give us an opportunity to do a little bit more this summer for you, or through the next fiscal year.
Yeah, Mary, I'll put you on the spot. Do you think you would do another peer-to-peer type of fundraising?
I think I would. Yeah. Definitely. I think it makes a big, I think if you have the resources and you have the connections, I almost think you owe it to these organizations that are trying to raise money. I feel like if you have that, it's a gift, and it's not my gift. It just happens to be the connections, and I attribute it to all of them because they're the ones that did all the giving. That it was money out of their pockets, not mine. It was just me asking, and I felt like that was, that was huge. That was our community all coming together. But
Yeah.
that meant a lot to me.
Well, speaking of that, anybody you'd like to shout out to who maybe contributed, more noticeably than others, or not?
Yeah. I would love to. First Bank, for sure. They were the biggest donation, and then the company match, which that doubled everything. So I felt like that was the biggest. John Linderman was one of my biggest donors. It was unbelievable. Donovan Everett was a big donor. Travis Bailey, big donor. And of course, I want to thank Casey because he did so much to help me. I felt like he was my private secretary. So I have to thank him. He did so much for me.
Well, I have to say, Casey reached out to Angel Oak and said, "Hey, how would you like to be part of the winning prize package for our 12 rounds winner?" I was like, "That's a great idea," So I was impressed with the innovation that he showed, and we're honored to be able to provide a little bit of a platform here. So thank you all for that. Michelle, I know you were part of that, and Shamika, thank you for all you do
Thank
there
you.
at Haven House.
Absolutely.
Mary, for those who don't know about First Bank, what is First Bank? Kind of where are you located? How can people maybe learn more about the work that you all do?
First Bank we're on Six Forks Road. We're kind of a commercial private bank. It's very different. It's a smaller community bank, and I think there's a lot of larger banks out there. We're more concierge, so we've grown so much in the past 3 years. I've only been there 5 years, and it was one of the greatest moves I've ever made. I've never seen a company ever care more about its employees and nonprofits ever. And I've been at 4 different institutions. I have to say it's about as real as I can be about it. I just absolutely love working there. Everybody loves working there. And it's not just the people you work with, it's the executives. They're not do what I say, they're say what, everything you watch them do, you're just like, oh my gosh, this is not even real. I could text any one of the executives, I could text the CEO, I can reach out to any of them and they would talk to me like a normal person. And I feel like that community involvement and the way that they treat their employees, it makes a big difference. And just even how they supported me on this, every board member, 100% participation, you just don't see that.
Yeah. Michelle, how important are those kind of corporate partners like a First Bank to a nonprofit like Haven House?
Incredibly important. I mean, we are really grateful, Mary, to you for leading the way for First Bank on this particular fun event. But it is absolutely critical to have corporate support in our communities, nonprofits today. That's, like I said at the beginning, having diverse funding is how we survive, and an important part of that is corporate funding.
Even more so today, probably with some of the things that are happening politically and all of those. So,
Yep.
Well, great. Well, thank you all for your time. I want to give each of you a chance to, kind of say one thing you want folks to take away from this conversation. What's something that you want to make sure people hear? Shamika, you want to start?
I'm sure. I think what I would like people to really understand why programs like this exist is because that we are trying to make a difference. We're doing something, we're giving the kids something to look forward to, a place for them to feel safe. And I think these opportunities matter, like for Mary, like people like Mary and First Bank, I think it's good. And just people have to know, like we keep telling about, like this is more exposure for Haven House. It's more exposure for the community to know that we do exist. So the more exposure we get, the less time kids have to go through the court to find us, you know? So I think that's the biggest thing I'd like for people to take away from opportunities like this.
Awesome. Thank you. Michelle?
Well, I mean, I would like to say first, if you're an executive and you're interested in an executive that would be great, we'll be doing this again next year. So send them our way. Absolutely. But I think what I said before, which is these kind of partnerships with corporations and executives and in the community is how our nonprofits are going to survive some of these tumultuous times that are happening. And so, go out there, and if you're at a nonprofit, really partner with the corporations in the area. And if you're a corporation, work with nonprofits. It's an important partnership. We all learn a lot in those opportunities.
Thank you. Now to the queen of the ring, Mary. What would you like people to hear?
I would love for people to understand the importance of a company match. I think if we can get more awareness out there to companies, I don't know how to make that happen, but I think if more companies would match for any nonprofit that they wanted to support, I feel like that's huge. I really think it made the difference here. I think if you are interested in peer-to-peer or fundraising, I think everybody should get involved. I think it's important, even if you have a lot on your plate. I feel like the same people volunteer for a lot of the same things I've noticed over the years. And I feel like if more people got involved, a little bit goes a long way. You never know your resources, your connections, and how you can leverage that to make a difference to support some of these great organizations. It just brings awareness, and it really does help do some great things. And who doesn't love to help our youth? It's the best. Future leaders.
Well, congratulations again. How can people find out more about First Bank?
They can find out about First Bank from reaching out to me if they want to, or they can see us on Six Forks.
Great. And Michelle, how can people find out more about Haven House and the great work that you guys do?
Yeah, they go to our website at havenhousenc, like North Carolina.org.
All right. Well, great. Well, thank you all so much for your time, for all the dedication that you have demonstrated through this effort, and congratulations on a huge success, and really being a role model for other organizations, for other executives, for other program directors. Just thank you all for all that you do.
Thank you, David.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for listening for this latest episode. Obviously, if you found it, you know where to find the rest of our episodes. We'd love to have you share. We'd love to have you leave a review. So just anything that we can do, Angel Oak is honored to be able to be part of this nonprofit sector. So thank you all. Have a great day, and look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you so much. Have a good day, everyone.